Hi and welcome. This is another episode of I Wasn't Taught That, a show that explores experiences and life lessons that shape and empower us. Borrowing from everyday life and the people around us, we'll seek to highlight life's nuggets that we can learn from and build upon. I'm your host, Robin Kiplangat. Karibuni. In today's episode, as part of getting to introduce myself, I'm joined by my dear wife as we share our story. Hello, Maggie.
Hi, so this is Magdalene Wakami, Chariot, aka the Missus. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, let's do this.
Welcome. This will be a 3-part episode where we'll share different aspects of our journey. This was a while back. Do you mind sharing more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we recorded this before we got married, and it was it was us taking an audit of the journey that we had met to that point, and just looking at the things that worked for us and those that worked against us, and pretty much just seeing how far we'd come. And that being said, we are really happy to share our journey and hope that it will impact somebody's life out there. And if it does, then glory to God. Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to do this.
Kick us off.
Cool. So, for me, when I think about the things that could be blockers or standing blocks in a relationship, one of them would I'd imagine I think it's best to start from within, from self. And for me, I have been a standing block, and pretty much in the sense of how having a template that I required you to fit in without necessarily any kind of edit, and by you were to come as perfect as the template. So I think for me, so spending energy and time just trying to fit you into that, I think has been a big has contributed largely to maybe the back and forth that we've had. I think also, so after that, I think knowing who for who you are and maybe not liking it.
In what way?
Like finding out some things that you stand for or you do, and me not being comfortable with it. And
so this is in reference to things that I stand for, and
as
you don't like them.
Things that you can tolerate that I feel should not be tolerated.
Okay, case in point.
I think I view you as hands-free. Yeah.
In what way?
You're not. I think how we look at things, and I think I've mentioned it, is in the sense that there are moments where I felt you have allowed me to simmer in my anger or in my disappointment, knowing very well that I'm not necessarily I'm simmering, and that's on me. The simmering bit is on me, but even that concern to go out and be like, yo, let's talk about this, like not being I don't want to say present, and not being alert or feigning oblivion. Yeah, it could be feigning, or it could be just how things are. Yeah, maybe because you do not want to confront, or you'd want it to calm down. But then again, I think because of the differences in approaches towards life. But over the time, that was in the beginning, like as I got to know you. But over time, I think, and this is where I think the beauty of relationships happens, where you get to know how you both operate and work your lives around it. So I think to begin, it would be me and my view on relationship, and trying so hard to have you fit into that template. And then secondly, finding things that I didn't like. Then again, that's where we get to know each other.
On blockers, for me, the first one I would say is taking a hard line, like taking a stand and saying that this is the kind of person you are and you're not able to shift or take someone else's view as adaptable. So that I feel like being in that space where you have this understanding of how you get things, how you understand things, that becomes your entire definition. It also bars you as a blocker in the sense that you close yourself up for any other new thing, any other dimension. Do you have anything around that?
I think that was something for me that I struggled with in the beginning. This is who I am, take me as I am. But then again, I also realized earlier on that who you are does not necessarily mean you're the best version of yourself. So if your environment requires you to change for the better, then, or if the relationship requires you to change for the better, it makes life hard for anyone to resist that. And I think that's what you struggled with. We might both have struggled with, but I caught on faster than you did.
I think, that's word for it. Another block I'd say is expectations. So it sort of ties with your template, but in this context of I am looking for this woman who will do ABCD, and turns out she doesn't do those things. Such kind of expectations, they earlier on inhibit how much you can get to share, get to understand each other, and I think hold you back essentially in venturing into like a deeper phase into the relationship.
So what are some of the expectations you had of me?
It come with this conformity of who a girlfriend is, who a woman is, and some of those are what are imprinted when you meet any woman in this context.
Nowadays, people are more, and ladies are more prone to acting as wives before they arrived. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of enjoy, if at all you will experience all those, enjoy them within the right context. Yeah? Because stories have been told of how ladies have given of themselves, gone to the boy's homes, let alone his house, but his home, and cleaned, washed, done all these things, all in the hopes that it will give a good light to her, in hopes that at a later time there will be a more concrete commitment. So just to,
So
I know
stuck
it's
in the hopes.
Yes, you're stuck in the hopes, yet there has been literally no one sent you, But anyway, let me not blame that on why I never did all those things.
Why didn't you?
I'm sure there are none. I honestly didn't feel like I wanted to do it for you. There was a time that you were working. Get somebody to create employment, Like I don't believe that is all I'm meant to be to you, Maybe in marriage I could do some of those things, and I could do them by even outsourcing. There are those that are intimate that I won't necessarily outsource, but those that I can, I hope to. Yeah, but I understand. I do understand then culture and the societal influence in thinking of me and hoping and having such expectations of me as your girlfriend. So I get you on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have another block would be about trust. So on trust, it's this essence of having to take decades for you to prove that you are not just there to take advantage. I understand how anyone needs to earn that trust, but if it goes beyond a certain point, then it loses that the reason behind it. In this context, it feels like you have to prove yourself over and over in order for anyone to take you that you're serious in that sense. For us, like for the first year, literally it's like you intentionally purposed to put so many hurdles between you and I, so that I would have to jump each and every hurdle every time. So there's so far that a man can go in trying to prove themselves, and I guess even a woman, before they call it quits. So even for us, that was a thing that was in earlier on as we started. On hindsight, you kind of found ways to put blockers along the way, not because I wasn't real with you, but I suspect it was because of your own insecurities. So you found affirmation in this sense by putting these blockers as an assurance for your own sake, but without necessarily seeing the kind of effect it had on.
I think there's truth in that.
As a blocker.
I don't think trust is the blocker.
No, as in the lack of trust.
Yeah,
That's why
I think the lack of it is.
We look at something that propelled us, which is on springboards. For us to get here, there are things that propelled us. One of them I would highlight is encouragement and how we got to complement each other. I think that's a big one, because it means that you actually get to acknowledge your partner and being a champion for them.
I think we were generous with it to each other. We were generous to each other when it came to encouraging one another, and just, I remember we would do, there's a time we bought so many pass it on cards, and you'd write me some, and vice versa.
Did you write me any?
I did.
Really?
I did.
I don't think.
I did.
I think I used to buy the pass it on cards, write them for you, and share them with you.
I did. I bought.
I don't have even one that you wrote me.
I'm not sure why you don't have one. Maybe it's because you've moved a lot, but I remember I got you a pass it on card.
One card.
Two. Okay, then. No, I'm not going to remove myself out of that pass it on thing. I did buy you pass it on cards. I wrote you letters.
Yeah, that I have.
Yeah. I told you verbally. I agree. We did.
So I think another springboard is about being alert, about each other's space, each other's strengths, as you mentioned, being aware of what your partner likes, what your partner prefers. Do they like movies? Do they like theatre? Do they like concerts? Do they like going for sporting events? I think understanding those have helped us in creating avenues for better connection, things to speak about, things to share, creating memories, going for hikes, not necessarily hikes, but a hike. Then you've gone for a hike.
Hikes.
You've gone for a hike.
You've gone to Karura like thrice.
Yeah, we have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
And you've gone
such
to
things.
Gong
Yeah.
Hills.
Creating avenues and
Gone
taking
to
the initiatives.
to Ololua. Sorry, I had to
Count them.
count them. So it's just to prove it's not, because this
Yeah.
is something that you like doing that I necessarily do not enjoy as much, but
Yeah.
just knowing that it's something that you like doing,
Yeah.
I have come to accommodate it.
When you are aware of your partner's preferences, you are bound to create avenues that you can get to share with them. So taking initiative during such moments means that you'll take their best interests and work around it.
It also adds points for you.
Yeah, so that's another.
Get those points. For me, my springboards or building blocks have been the conversations that we keep having. The fact that we keep on talking really helps. That means we are talking in good times. We're having really, because we enjoy each other's, we enjoy the conversation we have together, the conversations we have together. So whether we are having bad conversations or good conversations, I feel the fact that we are talking has been amazing. The fact that we have been prayerful, I think faith also plays a huge role. And when we hit snags and we do not know what exactly to do with each other, we have come back to that place of God give us guidance on the situation. So we've also let our guards down severally. We have eaten the humble pie. We've said sorry. We've been remorseful, so I think letting our guards down has helped. Good influence, I think.
On each other or from
others?
Outside,
from others, yeah. Okay. I think being also very sensitive on what influence we bring in. Because we've had both negative and good influence. And I think the good influence has outweighed.
Do you have negative friends?
Not negative friends, but negative influence.
From friends?
Yeah.
Should we expose them?
Nah, I ain't about that life. Not just friends, but I think even what we consume on social media and in the general media. I think that's influence. Influence here falls in the springboard in terms of it being good, because I'm sure you've had conversations with people who've told you, okay, go back. Have the conversation this way. Go back, apologize, go back to this, because that has happened for me. And just being kept on toe on what to do and how to do it, because I think also having people who've walked the walk before us has helped.
Do you think we are accommodating of each other?
Yeah, but I think it's something that we've learned along the way. I mean, it's from being headstrong and having templates to ditching all that and saying, Robin yawns loudly, and that's him. Does not make him less of a man, does not make him less of a human being. Brother just likes yawning loudly. So yeah, I have caught myself severally. I think you've seen me catch myself. Yeah, so pretty much.
Another springboard is we've been real with each other. Tough at the start, but then we got sort of a standard for us, just being straightforward and speaking your mind and being able to express yourself within ourselves being between you and I. So that has been a springboard, because it means we were able to table and air even the most sensitive of things, and that has pushed us so that we can break new grounds, because if you keep touching on surfaces on things, it means you'll never dive deep, and that's diving deep. That's where like the real issues are. So you've been able to get to the real issues by being blunt and being straightforward on items that would others have been, in most instances, just scratched. And
I think just being open and truthful and genuine would better describe our realness to each other, because I think we have had issues about being blunt, and I have been a propagator
for bluntness.
No, for genuineness with kindness. Yeah. Still learning. And by still learning, I mean you.
I'm learning.
Still learning to put some kindness onto the realness of things. I have grown emotionally, just even becoming more emotionally aware. It might have taken a while, but then again, we got here, right? So there's that. How I think about things. By nature, and why I say nature is because I'm a last born, and naturally we are very territorial and very
entitled.
Please don't put words in my mouth, bruh.
Saying as it is.
We are very territorial. We are not entitled. I don't think I'm entitled. I think it's expectations that I had, not entitlement. However, coming back to this, in being of that nature, I think I have grown to understand that you are a person and you existed before I came. So before I get too excited about pitching tent around your tent, I need to be more sensitive how far your pitched tents have exited, and just understanding, he's allowed me.
I think I've also gotten to experience that in which is quite clear in our interactions. It's quite clear on how we relate. So it's a learning process. Yeah.
So you are agreeing that I have changed?
Yeah, you have. It's quite clear. It's looking then and now. There's quite a difference.
I'm kinder now.
Yeah, you're trying. Yes, you are.
Get there?
Yeah, I don't think there's getting there.
Okay.
I don't think you'll attain it. It's a life choice.
I've chosen it though.
Yeah, it's a good one, a big plus. Yeah, so our order have a difference around that, and not necessarily peg our entire relationship on that bit. So it's experiencing moments, especially the tough ones, and then you can easily default to saying that I have a bitter relationship because we've disagreed for a moment, or because you make decisions when you're angry, so that means there's a lot of ego along the way. So understanding where you are also helps in seeing that some things are just momentary. So embracing that this too shall pass mantra helps in that situation. Have a dispute over lunch about the sauce or our order, have a difference around that, and not necessarily peg our entire relationship on that bit. So it's experiencing moments, especially the tough ones, and then you can easily default to saying that I have a bitter relationship because we've disagreed for a moment, or because you make decisions when you're angry, so that means there's a lot of ego along the way. So understanding where you are also helps in seeing that some things are just momentary. So embracing that this too shall pass mantra helps in those situations. Yeah, so that has been another change. Do you think so? Anything on that?
I agree, man.
Yeah.
I think I was guilty of pegging situations, like if at all we had bad situations, but I think it was more of me panicking and imagining, then again being informed by the fact that I'm coming from a point where I operated on templates. So I felt like whatever I experienced at that particular time was actually how we would interact in future, But then again, thanks to the good influence and also just looking inwardly and getting to know people change, situations change, and whatever situation you're going through now does not necessarily mean that's how it's going to be. Yeah, and I have seen that change, or I think also I've been converted into a believer by life change, or rather seeing that life change happening
which you
before
have
our
you
lives.
have to allow yourself to
Yeah.
experience it as well.
But even
'cause-
not just me experiencing the change, but even you. I've seen you change into a person that is really good for the relationship, So that has given me faith.
Am I good for myself?
I think you are. Yeah. I think because life has served you a couple of situations, maybe you felt you needed to be a certain way. But I think in this relationship, having gone through similar situations that life had hit you with, and getting to understand, and I think bouncing off each other and influencing each other, we come to that place where you think of what's best, and I think also letting go within the relationship. I don't know about other situations, but within the relationships, I've seen you let go. I've seen you ease up on your rigidness in terms of who you are. So just being able to see that change gave me hope that I do not necessarily have to peg every nasty thing that happens as a defining moment of how we're going to spend the rest of our lives.
Do you think it's also like a mindset thing? Because there's usually so many good things happening, but you easily raise issues when it's a negative thing, because 1,000 things can happen that are positive, but when 1 or 2 things happen that are negative, then the entire thing is messed up. Not necessarily you, but it's. Do you think it's a common thing?
I don't know. I can't speak for others, but I think for us, I have been guilty of looking at the negative things. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine earlier on and just saying, and I think I've mentioned this to you as well, because I'm saying how, for me, I'm always looking for, okay, fine, this is too good to be true. When is the boogeyman coming out? I enjoy being in that sad moment, but I think also coming to that realization that is something that I do, being more alert and deciding that it's okay for us to actually have 2 weeks of good conversation, have a month of amazing conversations, and not necessarily peg the small, and whatever disagreements we have do not necessarily mean we are not good, Just means that you said something, I didn't like it. I didn't have to like it. Is it a deal breaker? No. Shall we move on? Absolutely. So yeah. Excuse me. So it's pretty much that. Being alert, just stuff that we've mentioned before, being alert. And in that being alert, knowing that it's okay to actually have a good moment or have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you've captured quite a number, so I can highlight another pointer, which has been it's okay to ask for help. So that has been a change that has taken a while, but slowly getting there. So understanding that it actually is okay for your partner to assist you, it means also opening up yourself to sharing those uncomfortable conversations that you're struggling in ABCD and you'd like help in this side of your life, this phase in your life. What that does is it creates some level of intimacy within the relationship. That's one. And two, also affirms the kind of help or the kind of person you are with, in the sense that they actually mean something to you. Not that we should look forward to being our partner's saviors, but it's allowing them to be there for us. Yeah.
I agree. I'm saying I agree. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this week on I Wasn't Taught That podcast. If you found value in this show, simply tell a friend or family about the show. That would help us reach out further. We'd love you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or really wherever you get your podcast. Till next time, stay blessed.